Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
Here we are, Thursday, the 20th day of January 2011. We're going to be live here for the next 3 hours at least. Dr. Jerome Corsi will be joining us coming up in T-minus an hour and a half to get into the bizarre statements of the governor of Hawaii, Abercrombie, which has been interpreted by many to say they can't find the actual birth certificate but have a record that one was created in 1961. He'll be joining us for 30 minutes in the second half of the next hour. There is just a ton of incredibly important news I want to go over. Obviously, the House has passed the government takeover of health care. They have passed the repeal of that. Also, the news is reporting that the biggest mafia bust in history has netted more than 100 members of organized crime. And it's a bunch of slobs in the photos and video I've seen in blue-collar jogging suits. If you believe that this is the actual real mafia in this country, these are low-level gangsters. And this is just another level of the lie. Back in the 40s and even 50s, we were told by the head of the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover, that La Cosa Nostra was a conspiracy theory. He said that in Congress. It did not exist, because reportedly they had photos of him dressed up like a woman with his boyfriend, the deputy director of the FBI. And so they were blackmailing him, and they said it just doesn't exist. And then once they had to admit that it existed, because state police and others started busting them themselves at the state level, they said, oh, it's only Italians. Only Italians engage in hereditary crime syndicates. No, every racial and regional and religious group on the planet has always formed organized crime systems. It's called hereditary gangs. And this is how humans operate. And every major group on this planet, it doesn't matter what region, what part of the world, Africa, China, the United States, Europe, Israel, did I say Russia, Latin America, they've all got gangs, and it's always organized around a racial or religious background, because that's what binds these groups together. But the Italian mafia is a small overall component of this, certainly bad guys, but not 1/10 as venomous as some of the more murderous mafias out there that put them to shame, like the Russian mafia, which, of course, is heavily backed by the Russian government. So we're going to be looking at this whitewash here today, the biggest mafia bust. Of course, the big mafia is the syndicated crime syndicate of the banking cartel. And that's who really dominates all of this. And the other crime syndicates are just bottom feeders compared to that. It is the global crime syndicate that steals the trillions a month and that is shoving our world into world government. So we're going to be breaking all of that down today as well. But we are going to continue also looking at the communist dictator's visit, Hu Jintao, to the United States. We're going to break down. Also, Virginia lawmakers are looking to stop climate change probe. And I was listening to the radio this morning and heard Fox News reporting that the federal government has withdrawn its support for a climate change report that's been being used. It turns out that's fraudulent, just like all the other big reports. But it isn't stopping the different federal agencies like the Energy Department and other organizations, the Environmental Protection Agency, from going into Texas and other states and trying to basically shut down our power plants. And there's all these crazy statements. We saw it a few days ago from the head of the Goddard Space Center saying China's done a great job on the environment. That's why they're going to take over. And I saw other news articles today saying China is getting tough on the environment and we're not, and that's why they're rising. I mean, it's just a total lie. China basically has no environmental rules. We have them stacked sky high, and that's why we can't compete. And it's just a total fraud. So that's all coming up as well on the other side. And I never got to that fluoride story I mentioned yesterday. I'm going to cover that first. This is Alex Jones with 5 good reasons you should consider buying a solar power generator. Number 1, new climate legislation could easily double or triple your electric bill. Number 2, our new energy czar wants to control how much power your electric company allows you to have. It's true. Total government control of electricity in the name of smart grid technology is coming. Number 3, in some areas of the country, the power grid is dangerously overloaded. And now new socialist legislation is only compounding the problem. Number 4, dangerous weather is always a threat to local grids. Every year, thousands of families lose their power from weather-related outages. Number 5, a solar power generator provides powerful backup insurance and peace of mind. Folks, I really believe in the solar power generators offered by Solutions from Science, one of my oldest sponsors. You can get more information at www.mysolarbackup.com. That's mysolarbackup.com. Remember, the government doesn't own the sun, so go to mysolarbackup.com or call 1-877-327-0365.
You've heard Alex explain how the Silver Lungs generator infuses the respiratory system with your self-produced colloidal silver solutions, yet many are unaware of the entire function of the Silver Lungs system and how it has been designed to deliver your silver solutions anywhere in or on the body. My name is Mario Cifaldi, and I'm the developer of the Silver Lungs generator. Not only does the Silver Lungs system produce endless colloidal and ionic silver solutions, it also comes equipped with the proper applicators and devices needed to deliver your silver solutions directly to key target areas. This includes the eyes, ears, nose, lungs, topically to the skin, and orally for the digestive system. Be sure to watch our new 7-minute video tour of the Silver Lungs system at www.silverlungs.com to learn more about how the Silver Lungs system works. As well, we are always ready to answer any questions you may have. That's www.silverlungs.com.
Hi, folks. This is Alex Jones asking you for a minute of your time to tell you about soap. Not detergents, but good old-fashioned pure soap made by the Cal Ben Soap Company, a family-owned and operated American company. My family, staff, friends, and radio listeners are constantly telling me how much they love these products for bath, hair, laundry, and dishes. There is nothing like these factory-direct, big money-saving, triple-concentrated soaps anywhere. Get a free detailed catalog by calling 800-340-7091 or see them online at 5starsoap.com or Infowars.com. Let's talk to the owner of 5-Star Soap, Marty Schachter, and see what he has to say.
As founder and owner for over 63 years, people keep asking me, how's business? I'm happy to say our business is going down the drain. Call us at 1-800-340-7091 or visit our website, 5starsoap.com, for buying our 1 to 2 month soap sampler. Thank you.
He's the T-Rex of political talk. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
We are live. It is Thursday, January 20th, 2011. I'm still not used to saying 2011. By the time I'm accustomed to it, it'll be 2012. Hard to believe. Obama says we welcome China's rise. Well, great. If China wasn't authoritarian, dictatorial, arming itself to the teeth against the U.S., if their top generals weren't in official government publications every week talking about gearing up for war against the U.S., and if our own, quote, elites, the offshore banking cartel, wasn't positioning China against us, if they weren't openly crowing that China is going to replace the United States as the world superpower after the United States has financed all of this. That's the big issue here. That's the big problem. I get so many emails and see so many comments saying, Alex, Asia's rioting. You know, China's got big population problems. China's got big rebellion problems. China is teetering on the edge of collapse. Don't worry about them. I'm not worried about China. I'm worried about the geopolitical stratagem that has been developed openly by Henry Kissinger and others, who was on Charlie Rose last night bragging that thanks to the economic crisis, the crisis he talked about designing for decades, that now people are accepting the New World Order. Now all the countries are getting in line. And there's announcements about how $100 trillion of additional credit is needed to save the world economy. That means $100 trillion additional to the private banks, who then hoard it and use it to buy up the imploding economy. This is their takeover plan. And every time we do what they say and go along with their banker bailouts and their takeovers, things only get worse. And then they've got a new solution. Give them even more power. Then they've got another solution, even more. We go back 2.5 years ago to October of 2008. They had national polls of 99%. They were getting 1,000-to-1 phone calls in Congress against what was happening. But the Congress was bought and paid for and went ahead with it, including many Republicans. So we're going to be going over all of that today. Good news, House passes health law repeal. The bad news is doesn't have that much of a chance in the Senate unless we get serious and introduce the political idea, the political narrative that's constitutional, that how about we start impeaching members of the Senate? How about we start trying to impeach Obama for doing something unconstitutional? How about we put this into a constitutional crisis, knowing we have the Constitution on our side, and force its repeal now before they begin implementing it this year? With hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. Last time it was over 500. Every week, scores of new mega companies and other even small companies that have made donations to the Democrats, they get exemptions from the health care. It's unconstitutional right there. It's unfair. It's discriminatory. My operation, as this gets put into place, I'm going to have to get health care. And all that means is you come to your employees and say, okay, here's the federal law. I got to pay for half of it. You got to pay for half. I'm cutting your pay by 25% or more. Sorry, the government says so. And they're like, but we want to buy our own health care, or we want to, go this route. No, I'm sorry. You don't have a choice. And now the government's taking over what type of health care you get and openly setting up the death panels, which where unelected bureaucrats decide what your local doctors and what your insurance providers are allowed to let the medical care personnel, the experts, the professionals, give you. This is what managed care is. This is what big government takeover of care is. So we're going to be breaking all of that down today. But first, I want to get to this report because I mentioned it at the start of the broadcast yesterday, and I never got to it. Again, imagine how much more of this is going on that I'm not aware of or that you're not aware of, because I just happened to be on my YouTube channel looking at how many views that special we put out last week, a 10-minute report on the government's admission that sodium fluoride is hurting children after all these decades of denial as the evidence piled up. I did a 10-minute report that is very detailed with links and documents showing the 7-fold increase in cancer in men. I've always said at least a doubling. We actually have the government documents. It's 7-fold. If I don't have the documents in front of me, I always just kind of lowball it. It's an overall tripling if you average men and women together. But all the numbers are there. It's all linked. And I saw a comment on there saying, yeah, I was watching the local news here in San Jose, California, and they said a man went into a house that was being fumigated for insects. They only use this for either cockroaches or bed bugs. They didn't say what the issue was, but a big tent over the house, big yellow and black tent with giant warning signs everywhere. The people were having it fumigated, and the guy said, the news didn't mention it, but the signs that they pointed out, the police said, well, there's no liability here. The sign said deadly